Okay, so the bread's been cold proofing in the fridge overnight. It's been in there for about 14 hours. It can stay in there up to, I've been told 36 hours, but to be honest, once I've made it, I sort of bake it within 14 to 16 hours the next morning because no one can wait. And it's gonna go in the oven, but before going in the oven, it's really handy to have everything prepped. So I've got baking paper, I've got my blades, scissors, water spray, and oven mitts. The Dutch oven has been in the oven at 260 for half an hour already to make it very, very hot, because that helps all the trapped gases in here release, which gives you your rise or your oven spring in the oven. And so the key here, once you tip it out, is to be very quick. So first thing, so we mentioned earlier on in the equipment about having a bread sling. Personally, I just didn't like a bread sling, and so I just used baking paper. Baking paper's fine, and then my little tip for it, when you use it, so take the cloth off, you can see the dough, and I said it won't look like much, but you can, like, it's not like a big puffy thing, which is what I expected when I first did it, but what you can see is it looks much drier. And this is as a result of the Banneton and the linen liner, which has drawn out any excess moisture and makes it easier to handle at this stage. If you've done it in a mixing bowl or a colander, you may not get the same effect, which makes it a little harder to handle at this stage, and it's probably going to spread more when you tip it out. So what you do is you can either place it on top and tip it out, or if you've got a bread sling, it's easy to do that. You can just tip it out and it will just release. The rice flour helps it to release. You can just brush this light rice flour off. And then what I do, I just cut it into the shape of the bread sling because it makes it easier to lift up. So. You've got these two little handles, which makes it easy to lift up and put into your Dutch oven. And then I mentioned, really nice and quick, I've got my blade, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to do a cut about 1/2 inch deep from left all the way to the other side. I'm not going to do any patterns on this occasion. So. Can go over it. If you can notice, maybe my blade is dragged a little bit there. It's not very new, this blade, so make sure you're using a really nice sharp blade. I do remember the first time I did this, how I did go very slowly. It does make a difference, and you can see it's starting to open up and spread. I'm going to get my Dutch oven out of the oven. It's very hot, so careful. It's my very well used Dutch oven for sourdough. Lift it up. Use your handles to lift, go straight inside. Spray water. This is similar to how they make baguettes. This will help it, the crust get nice and crusty, and also help it rise. So you're just creating a steamy environment. And it goes back in the oven for 20 minutes on the maximum temperature.